Hello, it's Miss Pollard, and this is the first in your series throughout this semester of online lectures. And these are going to be created in order to assist you with your learning. It would also serve as a refresher if there are things that you need to go over. The word management, when we think of it, probably conjures up a number of different terms. But what I hope to accomplish throughout this class is a formal definition as well as informal illustrations of what management is. So we'll go ahead and get started with chapter 1. The first thing we look at are the learning outcomes for this chapter. Basically, we want to be able to talk about what management is, the 4 functions, the different kinds of managers, their roles and sub-roles, and be able to talk about what companies look for in managers. We're going to look at some of the top mistakes that managers make in their jobs, that transition from employee to manager. That can be difficult, especially when you go from being someone's coworker to being their manager. And finally, being able to explain how and why companies create competitive advantage through people, the most important resource. Management is defined succinctly as the ability to get work done through others efficiently and effectively. And this is done through 4 functions that we will cover this semester: planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. The different kinds of managers include your top managers, and these are the individuals who are responsible for the overall direction of the company. Some of their titles are listed here. Middle managers. These are the individuals who align the company's objectives. They create the objectives and make sure that they are aligned with what top management wants, their goals. So they're going to plan and implement these objectives throughout the subunit, so that the objectives can be achieved. And you see some of their titles here. The frontline managers. Now, these are the individuals who are responsible for training and the supervision of performance by non-managerial employees. And these are typically the ones who are responsible for producing a company's goods and services. They are typically the ones that are closest to the customers. And you see some of their titles here. Now, the team lead is typically someone who arises as a natural-born leader. And sometimes the line between frontline manager and team lead can get blurred. Typically, your team leads are the ones that are going to transition into the frontline manager's position, and they typically help the frontline manager with scheduling and planning and solving problems, as well as helping the team to work effectively with one another. Sometimes a manager is known less for those 4 functions, less for what they do, and more so for the roles they are in. Some of those roles include interpersonal. In an interpersonal role, a manager is seen as a figurehead, someone who performs ceremonial duties, or a leader. They motivate and encourage an individual or a worker, or they're the liaison. They deal with outside individuals. Sometimes they're seen as informational. In their informational role, they monitor the environment for information, or they disseminate information. Many times they serve as a spokesperson. How many times have you looked at television and you hear someone speaking on behalf of the company? Typically, that is someone in leadership. They're seen in their decisional role as an entrepreneur or a disturbance handler. As a Bank of America manager, every time I heard someone utter the words, "I need to speak with the manager," I knew that I probably was going to handle something that wasn't quite so pleasant. They allocate resources, and they're seen as a negotiator. Managers have to be skillful. Some of the skills that they have are here. Of them, what I believe and many believe to be most important are the human skills. Top 10 mistakes managers make: insensitive to others, cold or aloof, known to betray trust, overly ambitious, not quite skillful in specific performance areas, overmanaging, that micromanaging, unable to staff effectively, think strategically, unable to adapt to a boss with a different style, and over dependent on someone else in order to lead, like an advocate or a mentor. So there are a number of ideas and suggestions and recommendations that successful companies provide. And there are many books out there, and what you'll find is that a lot of times they can be faddish. But one thing that doesn't change is the importance of good people and good management. Companies simply just cannot survive long without them. And some studies were done, specifically one at, I believe, Stanford University. And it was found that in top performing companies, typically managers use ideas like employment security. Employees feel that they can be innovative and increase profitability without the fear of losing their job. The company participates in selective hiring. They only hire the best. They have self-managed teams which produce high productivity, and employees tend to be committed and exercise their creativity. The company is decentralized, so that means that the employees that are closest to the customers, closest to the problems, productions, are able to make decisions. How many times do you call into a customer service line and they say, oh, well, I can't help you with that. Let me talk to my manager. Empowering those individuals to make those decisions. They pay high wages. Training and skill development is important. You see that companies invest in resources in order to train their employees to ensure that they have the appropriate skill development. The reduction of status differences. This is something that I found at Bank of America. Instead of referring to us as employees, everyone was an associate. And there was sharing of information. This can be so critical. In an organization, you want to know what's going on. You don't want to feel left out. So, in summary, we talked about the functions of management, the kinds of managers, the roles that are played by managers, and some of the skills that are essential for managers. And here are some of the key terms. I would encourage you to go through and read the book, listen to this again if need be, and be prepared to participate and discuss in class. Take care.